Hi guys, Arlen Homer with Homer Real Estate, and I'm here with Brandon Longhurst with River Valley Homes, and we'd like to introduce you to him and what he does. Brandon, would you like to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what you do?
Sure. I'm a custom home builder here in the Idaho Falls area. I've been in the real estate market for 20 plus years, and then I've been building homes for about 12 of those years. And we build all sorts of custom projects for all sorts of budgets. So
Right.
there's a wide array. We can probably start, like right now, I guess pricing would start, somewhere in the 450 to 500 and go up from there.
Okay.
It's really tough to get below that, you get below that, you're more into the track building units. But
So how long have you been building homes, and how many homes a year do you like to build?
we've been building homes for 12 years,
Okay.
and I like to build anywhere between 7 and maybe 15 homes a year.
Okay.
15 is a little bit of a stretch in these times and markets. It's a little tough just for getting materials and supplies and things like that. Have changed a lot.
Sure.
The last 3 years has been a huge flip on the building industry as a whole.
Okay.
And it's great, but it's, there's a lot of cool things we can put in the homes nowadays and a lot of, awesome products, but there is a lot of awesome wait times.
Yeah, I imagine today's supply
Yeah.
chains are disrupted all the time. So.
Yeah, absolutely. So it takes a lot of patience, takes a lot of courage, takes a lot of like the right person
Mhm.
building a home.
So what would you say your wheelhouse is? If you could build the perfect house for your skills, and what would be best suited for your company?
Like thinking like square footage, or you're thinking just
Price, square footage, the features or benefits?
probably the best, the wheelhouse, like like this is a perfect home that we're in. Is kind of a wheelhouse home for me. Probably somewhere in the 750 to 900,000 range is a good range and price to be able to do all the things we like to do to make the homes cool and nice and fun. And I would say between 4,000 and 5,000 square feet.
Okay.
We do a lot of 10-foot foundations. So we do a lot of like really tall basements, which I think you kind of alluded to downstairs a little earlier.
Yeah. And I obviously like tall basements. I don't like to duck wherever
Yeah.
I go. 10 feet really makes me feel comfortable.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
really nice feeling in
So-
a basement.
Yeah, so that's in my wheelhouse. Doing a lot of like garage suspension and working with metal beams and planting those metal beams into the interiors of the home so that you can do large spans.
Sure.
So that basement that you saw earlier downstairs, 30 by 30 family room, doesn't have any walls, no posts, nothing to run into in the middle of the way. It just makes it really large and expansive and open. And that's really what I like to do.
Sure.
The less hallways, the better.
Okay. Well, you were gracious enough, and the homeowners were gracious enough to give us a tour of this home. Fantastic home. Not what I would call show ready today,
Yeah.
but we really appreciate them letting us in. Why don't you tell folks where they could see the videos from the Parade of Home on this home?
Yeah, so if you go to like my YouTube page, or go to YouTube or even Facebook and type in River Valley Homes Idaho Falls, you'll find on my Facebook page or the River Valley Homes Facebook page, there's a lot of videos to every parade home for the last I think I have the last 8 years of parade homes on that page, so you can go through every home, including the home that we just did this fall that I met you in.
Yeah.
So that home for the Williams is on there, the Snars video's on there, the Byington's video's on there. There's a lot of really cool homes, and they're all different. So every year it's been a little bit different. One of my favorites is the Newman's home, and that's out in Montague, Idaho, and it's about an hour outside of town. We had it in the Parade of Homes last year. It was the largest home on the parade, and it had probably 3,000 square feet of suspension in it.
Wow.
So, I mean, one of his garages will park close to 6 cars,
Fantastic.
and in the basement. And so it's a really, really cool home, and obviously it took them to being really great customers to create that. It's a great customer and a builder that wants to do some I guess, I don't know if you want to call it cutting edge or exploratory things,
Mhm.
you know, that we do inside the homes. But I have to have them on board to do it. So it makes a lot of, that's my wheelhouse is more somebody that's a little adventurous, I guess, and somebody who wants to do something a little outside the box, who's willing to maybe not, we're not into all the fads, but we're doing some of them, but we're doing some stuff that's even, you know, kind of right there on that line of like, oh, I don't know if I should do that. And then a year later, it's like, I should have done that.
Yep.
So.
Well, you mentioned Montague. What is
Yeah.
your range? How far will you travel?
Well, I built a home for my parents in Island Park, and so that's about an hour and a half away. And we built a parade home in Pocatello about 3 or 4 years ago.
Okay.
So I'm pretty comfortable going from Pocatello to Island Park.
Okay.
Haven't really gone much. I guess if you drew just a circumference around that area, I think that would be fine. Driggs and Victor markets, I mean, I haven't really stretched that far. I mean, I have people asking me all the time about coming out there. There's a lot of good competent builders out there and things like that
Sure.
I haven't really felt the need to stretch the legs that far.
Okay.
And there's enough of a market, I believe, here, you know, here in this
Sure.
area that we can probably, you know, do with. But yeah, I'd say anywhere in that greater circumference.
Okay. Well, Brandon, I really appreciate the opportunity to come meet with you
Yeah.
and take this video, and I really appreciate your clients being willing to open their home to us. And
Yeah.
they've got some nice things to say about you as well. So we
Cool.
appreciate that. And it's
Awesome.
a pleasure to do this. So
Yeah.
thank you.
Yep.
So Brandon, tell me, what's your draw or connection to the East Idaho market?
Well, I was born and raised in Shelley, Idaho, which is, you know, just a few minutes south of here. And I was born and raised here, and I spent a lot of my summers in Island Park, you know, with my grandma and stuff like that, and just grew up here. So my connection has just been, I grew up here, I guess. And when I graduated from college, you know, I had the opportunity to go to New York and move away, and just when I went out there, just didn't feel the need to move away.
Sure.
So I stayed.
Well, we're lucky to have you. So,
Yeah, thanks.
one of the things that causes people to be hesitant to tackle the build process
Yeah.
is the experience with the builder and interacting with the trades. Tell me what your clients that build with you can expect through that experience that's different with other building process.
Probably what's different about our process is, you know, I try to be very communicative to them and even over communicative to them at some points. And I think the biggest issue that I find with most of the customers is they have a hard time, you know, they want to be involved all the time in the build, which is great. But it's also really, really tough when we're trying to manage subs and they're trying to be involved, and you get into that micromanagement situation to where am I building the house, or you building the house, or who's building the house?
Yep.
And what we look for and what we try to do is make it. We have an app that you can use called Builder Trend, and they're able to snapshot pictures of things that they like, and they're able to you know, take video or whatever and post it so that we can see their feedback ongoing online, or they can just post pictures of what they like. And then when I come to a crossroads of wanting to know what my customer likes, I can look at those photos, or I get to know them well enough that I have a pretty good idea of what they like.
Sure.
So I can make decisions a little bit faster for them.
Sure.
So that's a little bit different. Not everybody uses the app to watch the build. I mean, we're still like evolving with the app, so I wouldn't say that we're 100% pros at using it yet. I've tried for the last 3 or 5 years to get all my guys on top of using it all the time, and some of them are really good at using it some of the time.
Yep.
And some of the clients are also good at using it some of the time.
Mm-hmm.
But I think as we evolve and get more into that, I think it will. That's a big difference.
Yeah, it's a great tool if it's used right, and
Yep.
it sounds like you're working into that
Yep.
situation.
I don't want to create the facade that we've
Perfected it.
perfected it yet.
Gotcha. Understood. So one of the other concerns or areas of concern for people that are building a house or looking into it is budget and cost.
Yeah.
So talk to us about how you structure your cost and price out a project.
Well, I price out a project based on square footage and based on allowances. It's really hard for us to bid projects right now in the current environment with prices going up and down and changing all the time. So it's hard for me to pinpoint a number at any given time when I have lumber companies that will honor their price for 24 hours.
Yeah.
So that's a problem. So I give them the best quote I can at the time, and we give them an allowance, and that allowance is something that they can see and manage in a spreadsheet form, and it's sent off to their lender, and their lender then approves it, and we just it's a cost plus type of situation. So we start anywhere from 10 and go up to 15. I think the middle part somewhere in the 12-13% range, you know, and a lot of that just really depends on the level of difficulty. So you know, if it's a fairly straightforward house plan, pretty easy to do, not a lot of changes, the customer doesn't want to be heavily involved in making a lot of changes or doing that all the time, they just want a house built, that's probably closer to 10. One I want to be, you know, excuse me, but the customer wants to have contact every day and wants to have, you know, like be in there every day making changes all the time, and that can certainly cause the project to slow and cause a lot of you know, changes to be made all the time.
Sure.
And that would probably be closer to the 15%.
Sure.
We've built 3 homes now, and our experience with River Valley Homes was easily by far the best. It's probably the first time I really felt listened to, and I felt like I really got to create a custom home and create the design that I wanted. And Brandon's really good with his expertise to show me what would work within my budget and still get what I wanted. And I felt like we got a beautiful home with all the function that we want for our family.
Yeah, Brandon did a really good quality build for us and helped us stay inside our budget. And we had him come back a couple years later and build us a shop. And if we ever build again, we already have our builder picked because of the great job that he did taking care of it.